has already a controller SQLite, right? So if you do it with this plugin, each plugin can control its own database. But if you run it in production mode and you have Postgres, you can share the same Postgres, kind of different schemas, different things based on configuration. It's pretty much the same as we have now, but the goal is to avoid merge conflicts. Merge, typically, if you want to extend something, you need to add it to the controller, you need to change schema, you need to do this, that. If you start to do multiple things in parallel, it's starting to be a problem with the merges, with the conflicts, and maybe you need to enable it, disable it, and stuff like that. But as soon as you move it away and you make it as a plugin, and then everyone is controlling his own part, and then basically you have just a one central UI, which is has a menu, and you can click on different modules and connect it together. There are some other infrastructure things that can be shared, like the telemetry, the other things, and then you have MCP. So all agents will use MCP to connect between all of these items. So it seems like a very interesting direction. Okay,
what would be an example that you had that you wanted to demo?
Yeah, I had example with a Kanban, with a task system, that you can manage from the agent. You can create tasks, you can basically assign them to agents, you can show the progress of them and stuff like this. This is one thing I have, and another one I tried also to have a cron jobs. So basically, you can configure and define the cron job, which just triggers a specific selected agent with some prompt regularly. Yeah. So you can build a lot of stuff only using that.
Okay, so basically, it would be a way where someone could include their own functionality in the UI without impacting anything. They would use the public APIs anyway, right? If they needed to interact, but they could add extra function. That makes sense. I'm just thinking if we have anything right now in the UI that could be made into a plugin.
I think any menu, any UI. First of all, we need to introduce.
Oh, you mean like everything?
The navigation bar. As soon as we have a navigation bar with a section and with different menus, like you have an enterprise version, basically. Okay. Yeah. Then each module is become like individual pluggable module. You can have like a dashboard, you can have the telemetry, you can have pretty much like anything.
Yeah, we would have to figure out what that abstraction is, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it's necessarily a menu item. I think it might be something like plugins, and then you have like all the plugins that you click on it, and then it loads the UI for you, right?
Yeah.
That's one way. Or if you want to complicate it even more, make it more complex, you could say specific portions of the existing UI are extensible, and you can create a plugin for chat window, plugin for tools. You know what I mean? If you want,
I think yes. I think the entire,
in general, the whole thing.
Yeah, it makes sense, definitely. I think the entire chat window can be actually implemented as an extensible thing. It's not a bad idea.
Yeah, but we would have to think about, we would have to think about the extension points, right? Because
the routing is important, because then UI is calling you back on the same kind of base URL.
Yeah. Like we would have to say if we create the chat window, let's say, as a plugin, that section of the UI would have to be an extension point, right? You know what I mean? But then we would also probably have to have other extension points, like you said, where, I just want to take over the whole screen, for example. You create a plugin, Dimitro's plugin, and if I click on that, it's going to like completely reload the screen, and you completely re-implemented stuff, right?
Yeah, that's the idea. So I think as soon as we start to work on it, we can figure out more. I just did 3 different plugins which I wanted to show, but sorry, not able to show it right now. And then that's already like a, for me, looks quite interesting direction, and it allows to do additional modules without like too much thinking of is it creating any trouble, is it needs to be like accepted or not. So you can develop them independently, and then you can just say, okay, I need this and that, this is the configuration. And
I like the idea. I just think we need to think through what are the extension points, right? Like if we're saying, oh, there's a menu called plugins, and in that menu it's going to recognize all the registered or deployed plugins, however you want to call it. And then if you click on it, it's going to replace the whole UI, or it's going to load whatever UI your plugin is providing. That's one way, probably the easiest way, right?
Yeah.
The second way would be to say, well, there's an extension point on the left side where you have sessions, in the middle where you have the chat, on the right where you have this, and then in your plugin, you would say, I'm creating a plugin for the chat window. You know what I mean? So we just need to we'll just need to think through how does that
I think the good example of that plugin system and everything, like what you are referring to, is like VS Code UI and all of that, because they allow you to
for example,
configure,
exactly.
You can do pretty much anything. But I think for the moment it's enough to just start with a simple one where you have just a menu system sections, and then you click on something,
opens like a dialogue and loads it in there, or like something like that.
It's like embedded.
Yeah, that would probably be the easiest, where it's like a menu extension point in a way, where you can add a menu, and then when someone clicks on it, Kagent itself creates the window, and then it loads your plugin, your UI in that window, for example. Right? Exactly. Might be a good way to start. All right. I guess we already started. I don't think there's anything, like looking at the agenda, there's 0 things. Is there anything, Dimitro, I'll add the thing that you discussed. Oh, Jet added something, right? Oh, that's future agenda. Okay, never mind.
No, I'm happy to do it today if there's time. I do have a demo for memory and human in the loop, but again, it's not like very urgent. So if there's no more agenda item, we can do that for sure.
Unless anyone has anything else that they want to discuss, speak up. I don't think.
Oh, I have one topic which is interesting one. There is this kind of a project someone started called Symposium. If you've seen it, it's like idea to run something on Kubernetes, like different agents, but they try to implement.
Oh, that's the what was it called before? That was renamed
GPT.
Kubernetes GPT, right?
Kubernetes GPT, yeah. But it's like, it's not renamed. I think it's completely rewrite.
A new one could be, yeah. But I remember it's the same. Yeah. It's a different one. You're right.
Yeah, I tried to install it, and it was missing the ARM images. So I asked the maintainer to push also ARM. Locally, you can build it, but it was not there from start. And then, kind of managed to connect it, but it's still like early stage. So it's not like exactly like, level that of maturity that we have in the Kagent. But it's interesting. They have this integration with I think Telegram, WhatsApp, Discord, all of this, like a gateway. It's a question also to the community also here, if anyone see the value to, do you see the value to bring like this open close style integration with different channels, like for example, Discord, and so on and so on? Do we need like a native gateway for channels? Like you want to have ability to chat with your agent in WhatsApp or somewhere, or that the agent can call you back when there is an issue. Because
you've got forgive me, yes, in Teams.
Okay,
that might be interesting. I'm just adding these as questions in agenda, even though they're not questions.
Yeah, because until now we didn't have any like notification. You can do it with MCP, but there was no like a session linked to the channel that actually can be a permanent channel for the agent. Like I'm running my OpenClaw, you know, on VM, and I'm also like trying to understand the like pros and cons of that integrations and things. And yeah, there are some
yeah. I mean, I might be a good idea. Like we do have. The only thing is, I don't like. We do have something for Slack, right, where you can talk to an agent through a Slack,
Yep.
which requires you to set up a whole.
But you need to mention bot, right? And then you.
Yes, yeah. It's a mention style, but
So
you're
it's a
saying
hook. It's a hook when you mention that, so the bot can reply.
yes.
I'm saying the gateway is actually works like you have a permanent gateway integrated, and you have a channels. So agent, when it's required, can use the channel to send you direct message and so on. But there are some limitations on different providers. For example, WhatsApp, it will be like just a chat, you know, with the one single agent, and you cannot have a multi-agent system on top of it. But for example, in Telegram, in Discord, you can have a sub topics, right? Each of them can be like in a separate session for separate agents, so you can build very like multi-agent communication in multi-channel communication in Discord, for example, right? And that brings a value, because then you separate context, then you are not mixing things in one window. Then you can have like your, I don't know, like separate, designated agent, separate session. It's
how does it? I'm not too familiar with Telegram or WhatsApp. How does it work if you want to register that? Would that mean that Kagent, the community, right, that we would have to create, like, let's say Slack, right? For Slack, you need an actual Slack app that someone needs to
That's
go
the
and
same thing.
install.
That's the same thing.
Okay, so
You
it's
have-
the same thing for Telegram and WhatsApp people. Like
And
you have
WhatsApp-
to say like a bot or something, a bot, an app,
Something,
whatever
yeah.
it's called. But would that mean that, because if for this to be useful, there would have to be there would have to be a single Kagent Telegram bot or WhatsApp bot.
I think that the user responsibility to register it. So you need to bring.
Sure. But we would have to create that, right?
We would need to create a gateway which allows you to activate
Configure it to.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like during the onboarding, you can say, okay, I want to connect. You can choose like
In
nothing,
WhatsApp
or you want to
yeah.
click like one of them. It's exactly what is done in this symposium onboarding. They actually, when you activate the agent pack, it's asking you, do you want to activate like Telegram, WhatsApp, Discord?
Yeah.
And then you paste the token, or it gives you this QR code to scan with your WhatsApp, and then you have a chat. And
Okay,
so
but there's nothing else required on the WhatsApp side. Like I don't have to, like, if I download WhatsApp today, and go through the onboarding, I would scan it and it would just work. I don't have to go, or you know what I'm saying? Is there any additional WhatsApp piece of software or something that needs to run in addition to Kagent and Peter's WhatsApp? Is there anything else that needs to run?
I think it depends a little bit, because like
Slack, you have to register an application, and that's like we don't want people going and registering that, because then it's complicated, right?
The same story is in Discord. In Discord, you also need application. You need to choose different skills, features, and so on. And it's really like a difficult experience. Yes.
Again, I'm not familiar with those, but it definitely would be interesting to look at and figure this one out. But we would need someone to do like initial investigation to see how that would look like, right? And what it would entail.
Yeah, and I think there are a lot of examples now, because especially like this OpenClaw community, they are like growing. I think they now outgrow the biggest React number of stuff I've never seen, and they.
Is anyone? I'm gonna throw it out. Like I know I haven't been joining these meetings too often, but is anyone volunteering to take a look into this? and do like the initial investigation, and then maybe like just to understand like what it would take and how the like just to have a little bit more understanding than we have today on what it would take to actually. And we don't have to do like Slack, Discord, Telegram, we don't have to do 7 of them, right? We pick one and pick 1 or 2, figure out how to do it, and then implement one, and then implement the other one, right? Don't volunteer all at once. So,
yeah.
And if there's no volunteers, we can just create an issue, right? In
I
Kagent.
can look into Teams if it's necessary.
Oh, and for Teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works. Can you maybe then just log an issue or something in?
I think
Kagent?
is the most corporate example, right? That like everyone is using.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah.
from what Dmitry says, it's like Grafana today work to send alerts in corporate webhook. You connect to your channels.
Mm.
So I can figure out some kind of stuff. If I don't know some events or something that people ask in the chat, I can notify the other group that this event has happened.
Yeah, but I think this would be, Dmitry, you were thinking about the full-fledged chat, right? Where I could go to Telegram, I could go to my Kubernetes agent or whatever, and talk to it and say, hey, restart these applications, right? And then it would respond back to me. And I think what Dennis, what Dennis is talking about is also valuable, but it would be more of a hook, as you said, right? Like send me the response or send me on this, on that, right? Some events. And
but in the end, even with Telegram, it's the same thing. You have like a bare backend with API calls that you can get your conversation on. You don't need to have
I think it can be like a separate, even like a separate gateway, let's call it, that can be optional, which at some point we can see, how to integrate and stuff like this. And this gateway can use even A2A protocol or something to make a bridge between the actual channels and actual agents. And the problem is that like when the agent decides, okay, during some, let's say a cron job or somewhere, when I want to notify a user, right? So that's like, I think the main value where it comes from, because you can have like a periodic scans on your cluster and then everything is good, no one worries. But then suddenly, for example, there is an issue and you found, okay, something like crash loop, running out of space and whatever, and you can actually make a notification in some way, right? So there are of course other tools to do it. There are like
but that's basically the 2 scenarios then, right? One would be, I'm thinking if I go and configure my agent, I could say, hey, whenever you respond, here's the channels. Like I'm talking about channels generically, right? Here's my Teams channel. Here's the Telegram. Like, can you do a checkbox and say, whenever you send a response, also send it to here.
Yeah.
It's almost like a webhook. It's not
right.
It's not the other way around necessarily. You know what I mean? Right. It's more of a you have a cron job, kicks off an agent, does something. Once the agent completes, it's going to send the response, and you in the Telegram would get the response, but you wouldn't necessarily be able to say, "Oh, can you restart and try again?"
No, you can. Why not?
I mean, you could, but I'm saying it's 2 different concepts. One is the first one would be like sending notifications.
Yeah, the use case.
Second one is
the other one,
chat,
you
right?
can just continue the chat, the same session.
So basically, it's a chat then, in a way.
Yes.
Right. It's a chat in a way. It's like back and forth, not just notifications.
There are some discussions even around those personal agents like OpenClaw and so on, where people actually saying it's not good idea to connect such a chat or such an agent to groups, where you have multiple people, because that's make a security model quite complicated. Like everyone can do some kind of like, prompt injection, do some other stuff and things like that. So it's not advisable to kind of share your personal agent with public groups or other like places where you can theoretically have, you know, multiple people communicating to this. So I think because of that, we might need to think if it fits into the K-agent scenarios, if it really makes sense, or is it like something that will be connected more like to very, you know, to some selected phone numbers, selected, you know, like admin users or something like this. I don't know yet. It's something that we need to investigate.
Yeah, I mean, I think from the user experience, it would be nice if it's like I install K-agent and then I can actually say, like, oh, by the way, here's my WhatsApp number. I want you to like set it up for me, right?
That
Or
can be
whatever,
like
right?
that can be, by the way, that can be just MCP, and that can be like just a send MCP notification to this number. That's, I think, some kind of like a simple.
Well, but it's
case.
not just MCP. It's talking to the agent back and forth, right? Which would mean like from
There are two
from
ways of doing this. You can do it like with your own number, or you can have a dedicated number for the agent. If you have, for example, a second number on, you know, like which is dedicated to the agent, then you can. It depending on that, you can do multiple things. Okay, so you can.
yeah, but it's the same. Like you would still have to implement something that when I say in my WhatsApp, when I talk to the agent and say do something, that request would have to go to some endpoint, and that could either be an A2A endpoint of that specific agent or some sort of a gateway, like public gateway that would know how to route it to specific agents within.
No, there are SDKs for this, hooks, and yeah, they work on
but that's what I'm trying to understand. These hooks for WhatsApp and all that needs to live somewhere. You know, like someone needs to write this, and the user is not going to configure that. It would have to be us to create like a K-agent connector, whatever, K-agent connector for WhatsApp or whatever it is. And then as a user, I would go, and as a user, I'm assuming in WhatsApp, I would go and add that bot or add that connection to my like contacts, and then hook it up somehow, right? I would have to configure. That's the part that I don't really understand how it works, that we'll have to figure out, right?
I think this story about this OpenClaw started as when the creator of OpenClaw wanted to have just a WhatsApp bridge. He created WhatsApp bridge, which he can use for Cloud Code to, you know, to remotely run some commands and execute things, you know, and stuff like this. And this is how the whole idea born, you know, and then extended to the OpenClaw as autonomous agents, multiple agents, channels, and all of that. But I think this use case is now become more popular. People are using Cloud Code as a remote mobile and other things. Yeah, so I think for the Kagent community, it's probably there is some demand as well for this. You can run it like in secure way via your Tailscale or like some other things, you know, private networks. Of course, like integration with Teams, maybe a best priority for enterprise users. Then
I mean, I'm definitely not opposed to it. So but we need, like, someone needs to come up with the plan, right, on how would this look like.
I am worried also from security point of view. Like Telegram, they announced that they now support a streaming mode for agents connected to Telegram chats. So basically, in Telegram, you will see immediately the streaming of your LLM, almost like real time. And what worries me more, so these platforms are getting so much access to send back some responses, and then, you know, you can inject whatever you want to the agent on the other side and ask him to send you all the keys, and you know, it has a two-way security impact on those, and it's
it would definitely be like some
those.
I just wanted to say, like, I think for something like this where you're trying to integrate with Slack or WhatsApp, it would probably make sense to almost do it as like a separate project where you just build an A2A Slack bridge or an A2A WhatsApp bridge. Like, it doesn't have to like live inside the Kagent code base necessarily. It's just like another tool that you make. And then you can also have a Slack MCP server and then a WhatsApp MCP server. If you want to deliver notifications, you can use MCP. If you want to chat, then you would use A2A, right? And then
Definitely, yeah.
Whatever
Yeah.
the feature-rich experience that you want for those two different use cases.
Yeah. The only thing that I would like, I agree with you. The only thing that's frustrating to me personally is the talking about Slack here, right? You as a user, right? Let's say I'm a Kagent user. I install Kagent. I'm like, oh, I can do like hook it up with Slack. And then I'm like, oh, I have to go and set up the app. You know, like I have to set up the Slack app. I have to deploy the Slack app. I have to configure, you know, there's a lot of work, tedious work in there to do that versus I install Kagent and I say, connect to my Slack. It connects to my Slack. It magically works, right?
Kagent, like, I didn't think Kagent was meant to be like so easy to install that someone who could install Kagent could not set up a Slack app. Like,
Sure, that's true. True. Yeah. I'm just thinking more from like how can we make this as easy as possible, right? That's the only thing. And the way that we
but
could make
this is
it
not our problem, right? This is
True.
like
Yeah.
the complexity is on the other
You're
side.
right.
It's,
We enable it for users, and we assume that they know how to set it up. Yeah.
I mean, speaking about this, you know, of course, if you can say what could be the easier part, and there are several people on LinkedIn today were mentioning that, like, okay, I can rewrite Slack in 30 days, and so maybe having like a mobile app for the Kagent could be like another option, you know, where you can have like a native iOS or something application which integrates with via your secure network, and you have notification, then you have all of the things there. I think that's also like one. It's like easier for user to onboard, but more difficult for us to maintain. You know.
True. Yeah. I mean, yes, for sure. And even, I mean, to be honest, even with, if you want to make the Slack onboarding easier, let's say, that would mean we would have to own the Slack app.
Yeah.
Right. We would have to make sure that Slack app, that people actually go and in the Slack marketplace.
With some OAuth.
Exactly. Right. So that's not easy either. Right. We would have to maintain it anyway.
They would have to give the community-owned Slack app access to their Kubernetes cluster, which would be
Exactly. Yes.
a bigger problem.
Yes.
Mitra,
Yeah.
when you mentioned that some kind of application for mobile, it just sounds like a PagerDuty for a Kagent.
Could be, yeah. But PagerDuty, I don't know if there you can have like a connect back to your agent, right? So you cannot start chat with your agent. Yeah.
I'm talking about the approach. Like you have some agents running and CPs running, and you just have a lot of notification and can interact with them.
No, this one way it's a fine. But you know, like I am playing like 2 weeks only with this OpenClaw just to understand the things, you know, what can go wrong, you know, like from different aspects, like also like the capabilities of models and so on. And I tried to for example, configure the voice as well. So where you can go to the voice mode, full synchronous talking to the agent, you know. It's complex, you know, like you need to support those TTS things on different ways, depending either you give it to the 11 labs or OpenAI or other side. And then if you start to, for example, configure Discord voice chat with agent, I managed to do it once. I heard like 2 sentences, and after that, like I couldn't repeat it because I am constantly getting some error with API permissions and blah blah blah. You know, it's like what Peter said. It's like some of this onboarding and configuration is really tedious and very, very difficult for the regular user. But on the other side, I think we will be there soon. You know, like it's going that direction. So I think in 1 year, probably you will see more and more people talking to the infrastructure just by voice. You know, it's like you can do it also now by using some apps, you know, which just translate fastly, you know, the voice to text, and then you chat. But that's already like what happening.
Maybe a bit of a tangent, but someone mentioned mobile. I would love to see the K-Agent web UI work on the mobile. Right now, it's kind of
It's not, yeah.
rough, shall we say, not usable. I don't know if do we have like I would be happy to volunteer in contributions in that area if there's some plan that I could follow that where my contributions would be accepted. Because that one of my main use cases for K-Agent is I thought I could replace Claude Code for the web for me, where I can log into K-Agent and like on the file I can have like some things on the go just while I'm out and about. I can keep like, oh, like fix this, just fix that, or
that's exactly what I also want to see, because it's yeah. I think we will eventually will try perhaps to go with iOS app in some way.
I mean, I
iOS first, not Android.
I don't know. Depends on who is doing what.
I'm just talking about mobile web here. Like, I just want the web interface.
Just
I don't actually care about the app. I'm fine. Like, web is fine for me. I don't need an app at all.
Or we just fix the web and make it like mobile friendly.
Yeah, that would be step one. And then if you want to just like take the web and put it in a web view, then there you go, mobile app.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Classic.
Yeah.
Classic web.
Like this one page up.
Yeah.
But progressive web apps are not bad. Like, you can install them on your home screen and stuff. So for a K-Agent user, like these aren't like, teenagers that can only install apps. You could tell them like, hey, just put a bookmark on your home screen, and they can like conceptualize that and just do it and then not need a native app.
Yeah.
It's not like K-Agent's going to run offline. Maybe there's such a plan, but it seems a bit weird that you would try and run it. Like K-Agent in particular doesn't seem like something where it will work without the internet connection. So the native app is questionable in value.
Yeah. Yeah, if you want, like,
but then again, native app, and at the end you will get a chat. So what's the difference then to have a native chat? Again, we're back to the chat discussion. If you onboard chat and you connect it to your WhatsApp, there will be I think experience with the native chat will be always better than the even progressive app.
What would be the difference?
It's just more, maybe more secure. Maybe more secure for the progressive, because then you are not like going via any provider, or you're not sharing your sessions with anyone. Yeah.
But like, what is the difference between the native app and the? I don't follow.
It's this. I think it's would be the same, right? In this case, like, since native app would be actually like using Objective-C or whatever you use to write the right, versus rendering React.
Well, there's some services. There are some services you can access as a native app that you can't access as a web app. Like some amount of like background processing and.
But I don't think there's anything that K-Agent would necessarily make use of that would require us to write it as a native app, right?
Maybe. Well, I guess the only thing I could think of is if you wanted to make. Sometimes I see people they're like talking to ChatGPT, and it's just got like this little animated avatar, and it's just like responding like really fast, and like, so if you want to do like your own voice processing library, I don't know. Actually, even those ones are probably on the web too, aren't they?
I think Whisperflow app, it's already exists on, I think, on desktop and also on mobile. It's installed as a kind of custom keyboard on your mobile, and it allows you to do the same. You just talk, it translates everything to text immediately, and it works pretty good.
Oh yeah, so that would work with the web app as well. Just use Whisperflow keyboard or whatever.
So for native app, we now have Docker on Android natively. So basically, if someone wants to bring their agents as Docker images and run this container on the Android,
someone from Microsoft released it yesterday. The Wasm agents, running in the browser, everything just in the browser completely, and it's we can do Wasm as well.
That would be. I'm looking forward to the day when the agents. I think one day agents that are as good as like Claude 4.6 will be able to just run like on your phone one day. We'll just figure out that technology.
There is an SDK that I saw that Apple released like last week or something for to be able to, I think it's Python even, to be able to access the on-device LLM that they have. I don't know how useful that is though, but
yeah. I have maybe to change the topic. There are a couple of releases of the new models, versions, and things like this. Do we need like to review our default models for Ollama, OpenAI,
probably,
Anthropic?
yeah, probably.
Like-
I don't know what is the current. Are we still defaulting to GPT 4.1 or something?
Yeah,
We
I
should
think
probably update. I'll log in.
we should update. We should update like to at least 5.1 probably, or 5 something, and then also Qwen models came recently with a good, small versions of 7B and so on, quite good in quality and so on.
Yeah,
and we can also maybe suggest one of those for Llama, test it.
So when you run those Qwen models, do you still pay by the token and you run them in Ollama cloud or in AWS? How are people?
You can run locally.
It's still a newbie question, I admit, but
no, Ollama you can run completely locally on your on your Mac.
so in the this is
Offline
K
mode.
agent in Kubernetes, or are you running K agent mostly locally in Kubernetes?
No, you
either. I don't think it matters where you run it, right?
It's not really important. I mean, if, for example, for your local testing, you can run it with local Ollama, then you don't pay for anything. You just run it with your local models. And
But you need a lot of GPU memory, right?
Or CPU, but it's very, very slow.
No, those recent, you need the 7 billion models probably, which are taking relatively like small amount of RAM, but this.
But it is
like
way slower.
Below 10 GB. Yeah. It's not that slow. I mean, it depends on the machine, how many GPUs you have on the Mac, but some of them.
But can you run these things in the cloud? Like, are people running these open source models? I just haven't figured out what the deployment, because I know I'm just used to using OpenAI and stuff like that, where you just like get an API key and like tell them, hey, you run this model. But then, is there a similar service? Like, if I want to run Qwen or one of these other open source models, will they just kind of spin it up and charge me by the token, or do you have to pay by the hour to run it on a?
There are services, right, Dimitro? Like I know I tried running it locally. You can run it locally on a Mac.
Okay, Ollama Cloud is easiest. If you start with Ollama, you want like Ollama Cloud, you can go with that. Open Router allows you to kind of connect to thousands of different providers and models, and you can do like Open Router /auto, and then you can define in your routing rules which models you allow. So basically, it will automatically pick up from like cheapest or more available, and you can have like, for example, Open Router connected to, for example, Gemini, Anthropic, OpenAI all together. If one of them is down, not available, it will be always working. And this is what I'm using for my personal Open Cloud testing. I'm using Open Router right now.
In Open Router, also, if you have like multiple Macs API keys, now don't tell anyone in Anthropic that I asked this question, but if I just, hypothetically speaking, if there's some criminal out there who had a lot of Claude Max accounts and they wanted to route between the different Max accounts, could you set up Open Router to like switch between API keys depending which one isn't being throttled?
Don't know, but they have some rules and bring your own key and other stuff. But they actually they do it for you. Anyway, they sell you or resell you the providers.
Oh yeah, I just didn't want to pay by the token because the Max is like way cheaper for heavy token.
Yeah, that's a different thing. If you're talking about like optimizing your coding agents, that's a different story.
Oh yeah, Open Router. That's interesting. You talk about they'll reroute it when something is down. I like that idea. So maybe I'll look into that. And you're saying Ollama Cloud. I'll see if I can get legal approval to try that out. See if I can run some of these other models. It'd be interesting to just compare like the results, because right now I'm kind of using Claude Opus for everything, and it's just really expensive. So
it adds up.
Cheaper solution.
Yeah, Opus, yeah. But on the other side, I try to use agent with those silly models, like Flash, Micro, Nano.
Yeah.
You hate your agent immediately, like
Yeah.
it's asking you like 5 times to confirm something, or completely not proactive. It's like you explain already what to do, and it's like asking you 3 times, confirm.
I was having the weirdest experience with GPT. I tried to set up a GPT coding model. I must be using the wrong model because in Kagent, and I'm like, yeah, let's work on this feature. It's like, yes, okay. In order to do that, I have to do this, this, and this. I'm like, proceed. It's like, yes, in order to proceed, I would have to check out the repository and make the following changes to the code. I'm like, proceed. Like it didn't. It just like stops and tells me what I would have to do. And I'm like, go.
Exactly. Yeah, that's usually like when your model is like less advanced. That's exactly what happens. Like, and then your chat, you become very annoyed by this model and your agent, and then you say, okay, I'll go back to my Codex 5.3 or Anthropic latest, whatever.
Can you use Codex 5.3 with Kagent? I was trying to, but then it said that it doesn't, like Codex doesn't work with chat, or it only works with completion models or something, or completion API.
I haven't tried it with Kagent, but it's actually an interesting question. Yeah.
All right, looks like we're at time. I thought this one goes until 10, but I think it's 9:45 only.
Yep.
All right. Well, Jet, I guess you'll do the demo next time. All right, everyone. Nice seeing everyone. Nice chatting, and we'll.
Yeah,
I think
bye.
we have the contributors meeting this week, right? That's on
Yes.
Thursday. Yeah. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye. Bye.